This is Robin Bullock, and he's a famous televangelist. I would be willing to bet if you have an older person in your family, a grandmother, grandfather, a dad, a mom, an aunt, and uncle, who is mildly religious, they most likely know who this guy is. He's pretty famous. He went on this TV show, or this live stream, with this guy over here in the corner named Steve Schultz, and Roger Stone, of all people, Donald Trump and Richard Nixon's fixers, if you will. And in this live stream, this is back in April of 2022. It's relevant to now. I'll get to it in a second. Bear with me. Roger Stone comes out here and claims that there is a demonic portal above the White House, like hovering above it, and demons are all coming through or some other nonsense, right? No reason to believe this, of course, but Robin Bullock reaffirmed what he was saying as the resident prophet of God or whatever. He claims to be a prophet of God. Anyway, Robin Bullock claimed to have done some absolutely bizarre things on January 6th. He talked about it in this. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up in the first place is because I want to give you a little bit of a lead up into who this guy is before we talk about the main story, the main subject here, which is his daughters, of all people, coming on his show and doing a guest appearance and saying some off-the-wall stuff. Seriously, oh my God, is it crazy? So let me introduce you to Robin Bullock, if you're unfamiliar with the guy. This is his appearance on Steve Schultz's program with Roger Stone, telling us a story of something that happened to him at the Capitol in D.C. on January 6th.
Okay, on January 6th, 2021, I was there in D.C., and I was listening to President Trump speak. I was up by the monument, Washington Monument.
This is not something I would admit to, honestly. This seems like a bad idea, considering what the FBI has been doing lately, trying to track down everybody who is involved in any way. But, okay, you do you.
And then the Lord told me, he said, now I want you to leave here and go down to the Capitol. So I turned, and you can walk straight toward the Capitol through the park. And so I'm headed down that way, and a pastor meets me and hands me a staff. And so I get to the reflecting pool on the backside of the Capitol.
If you guys never seen this, I went there in 2016 for the Reason Rally. There's the Lincoln Memorial, and right in front of the Lincoln Memorial is the reflecting pool. It's just a pool that's, I don't know, a foot or two deep, not even that deep. And it's just, it's really, really big. It's a long pool. And then past that is the Washington Monument and some other stuff. So, okay, he's walking past the reflecting pool with a staff in hand, right?
The little one. And I arrived at 111. President Trump quit speaking at 111. And so I held the staff up and pointed it toward the Capitol at 112. And at 112, they walked the absolute proof into Congress of a fraudulent election.
No, there is no absolute proof. The proof does not exist that there was a fraudulent election because it wasn't fraudulent. But okay, this guy, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's one of those people that is absolutely obsessed with the idea that Trump won the 2020 election. You know why? Because he prophesied that Trump would win. If Trump doesn't win, which he didn't, then he has to explain himself, right? And instead of explaining himself and coming clean as a false prophet, he quadruples down. This is practically all the dude talks about now, is the claim that Trump won, and he was right all along, and he's actually a real prophet.
Of a fraudulent election, and they laid it down on a certain desk. And so when they did I ordered the Red Sea and the corruption to be revealed, and the place came apart after that. Mm-hmm. Okay. A year later, I was back up in D.C., so I held my staff, the one behind me, over toward the Capitol again, and the Lord said, tell the Red Sea to come back together. Where I held the staff out, the water turned black, and now they drained it, and it's a dry pool.
The reflecting pool. Robin Bullock claims that he parted the reflecting pool by the grace of God. He had God's blessing to, slam his staff on the ground or whatever and force the water to turn black and or drain? Are you kidding me? Is anybody believing this? Sadly, they are. Unfortunately, a lot of people buy the things that this guy is selling.
Wow.
And there's a guy in the background. Wow.
Well, remember Moses stretched his rod out and they walked across on dry land.
Yeah.
And so it dried up. The whole pool dried up.
Yeah, so Robin Bullock claims to have parted the reflecting pool effectively, like Moses parting the Red Sea. That's who Robin Bullock is. He's got a weird obsession with staffs, I've noticed. I don't know if you guys know Kat Kerr, but this is her on screen here. She's got a weird obsession with sticks too. She's the one who claimed to have ordered a hurricane to go away and not bother anybody or something. I don't know. This is from 2019, I think. Yeah, just give this a listen for a second.
So right now at this moment, we take authority over Dorian that has no right off the coast of this state or anywhere. And we hit that storm to the east right now, and I'm going to do it 3 times.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't know what it is with these televangelists and these evangelical nutter butters who are absolutely obsessed with using sticks to order things around. It's just weird to me, man. Listen to this one. This is early October 2022. The dude had more to say. Similarly to Kat Kerr, Robin Bullock tells us about a time he went to heaven. He visited heaven, visited God in heaven. And I don't know, you just got to hear it. Listen to this.
I've seen things in visits to heaven. People say, you visited heaven? Yes, 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 yes. Not as much as some, but I have. One day, I stepped over into there, and I walked out, and it's the first time I'd ever seen this in my whole life. It was a valley.
He's describing being in heaven. First time he'd ever seen this, it was a valley in heaven. This is ridiculous.
And then this mist rose up out of this valley. And then the next thing I saw really took me back, because you know you saw it when you didn't plan on it happening. You know you were there. I didn't expect, I didn't say, okay, now I'm going to go into this valley and I'm going to look at this. I'm just there, and then suddenly this mist comes up and I'm watching it. And then this giant looking head of this dinosaur thing stood up in this valley.
There are dinosaurs in heaven. Okay. This is news to me. I had no idea God kept dinosaurs in heaven. Does he have a whole Jurassic Park thing going on?
And it was not dangerous. And this was the valley. The Lord said, this is where they live here. I came out of that room stunned. But it doesn't make any difference who believes what.
Well, that's lucky, because I certainly do not believe this garbage.
I was the one that was there.
Great, give me proof. That's all I need, baby. Just a little proof. The one thing he never provides, right? Proof. Oh, that's the end of the clip. Oh my God. This guy is so ridiculous. Okay, well, that brings us cleanly to his daughter. As it turns out, I didn't know this. He's got 2 daughters at least. He may have more than that. And he's been inviting them on his show a lot lately. They've made multiple appearances, and oh my God, they are as out there with their ideas as he is, surprisingly. I didn't think it was possible, but here we sit. This is one of his daughters. I think her name is Krista. Yeah, that's Krista, okay? This is her in a different sermon. And then this one is Amber. That's his other daughter, Amber. Now, I don't usually talk about anybody specifically unless they come out there and make these specific claims. I try to focus on the content of the message. I wouldn't have even talked about his daughters at all, or the message that they had to give anybody, if they hadn't come up on his platform and decided to say bizarre off-the-wall stuff. So I'll tell you what, why don't we give it a listen and see what Krista Bullock, I think that maybe she's married now, I don't know, Krista, daughter of Robin Bullock, has to say. Listen to this. This is early October 2022.
And get out of Halloween. Bless God Almighty, how many times do we have to tell the Christian people, stop it. Just stop. I walked in.
God, I knew somebody like her when I lived in West Virginia. Very, very Southern, right? Hair thrown up in a bun like this, and a very distinct Southern drawl. I don't know. It just, something deeply bothers me about the aesthetic that she's given us here. It's kind of frustrating.
Just stop. I walked into a hardware store the other day. You done made me rip my glasses off, I'm tell you what.
See, she's giving us this aesthetic intentionally. She wants us to pick this up from her personality. You done made me rip my glasses off, I tell you what. People don't usually say things like that unless they're trying to, I don't know. Let's just keep listening. I'm not going to criticize her appearance or her aesthetic or anything like that because I'm above it. Low-hanging fruit. Let's talk about the content of the message.
I'm tell you what. So they had all the Halloween decorations on one side of the store. And I'm telling you, you walk past those things and they start growling.
Yeah, they have batteries, some of them. That doesn't surprise me. Would you be surprised to find out that's not what she means when she says that?
Half the time, that ain't robotic.
Half the time, that ain't robotic, she says. Well, what is it, Krista? You know what it is? Demons. It's demons. Oh, my God. This family is just an endless well of entertainment, dude. This is crazy. Demons are slipping into Halloween stores and hanging themselves on the racks to scare the shit out of people when they walk by. This is ridiculous, man.
I'm going to let you figure that one out.
Okay.
And you walk past, they start growling, and they start doing all these different things, and you hear that stupid laugh. But then on the other side, there were beautiful twinkling red and green lights. There were snowflakes.
Okay, did you enter the Christmas section? Is that what you're describing?
There were all these different things. But yet, well, I'm not into the scary stuff. I'm into the good, I love when my daughter dresses up as a princess. I want her to be involved in with all the other kids and everything like that. Let me tell you something. This is a plush devil.
Okay, so I wasn't sure what she's saying at first. I think what she's saying is that she was imitating somebody who thinks it's okay to celebrate Halloween. I just like the princess stuff. I don't like the scary stuff. No, it's not okay whether you want to celebrate Halloween or whether you want to get into the nice stuff or not. You just can't celebrate Halloween, period, is the message that she's giving to people here, it seems to me.
As me and my sister calls them.
A plush devil, okay?
You want to know what a plush devil is?
Tell me.
It's a sweet-looking little teddy bear with a knife in his hand.
Okay.
With a smile on his face as he stabs you and kills you.
Okay. Thank you for the vivid imagery, Krista. That was very odd. This person is bizarre. This whole family is bizarre, dude. I actually do have a deep problem with the whole premise here. She wants to stop people from celebrating Halloween. I think that's wrong. There's honestly nothing wrong with Halloween. Nothing. It's just fun, right? By not celebrating Halloween, you are further isolating yourself and your family, your young children, from the rest of society. Take it from somebody who was completely and totally isolated from society when I was a kid. It's an ugly road to go down. Do not walk down the road of isolating yourself. It's not fun. Not fun for you, not fun for the kids, not fun for anybody. And it did lasting psychological harm to me as far as I'm concerned. It's not healthy because you cannot be a part of what everybody else is doing. You can't be friends with them, really. You lose things in common with them when you're left out of these major cultural events. Halloween is just fun. That's it. People are just there to enjoy their time. But these people are eating themselves alive with extremism and fear and hate, which leads to them projecting that onto everything around them. It's sad. Before we continue, I just wanted to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get something back for your support, you can check out my Teespring. Or you can check out my Telltale Unfiltered channel. I go through long-form, unhinged sermons from all kinds of people, from Hank Kunneman to Greg Locke to Jehovah's Witnesses. So give it a look. Links are in the description. Okay, now back to the video. Krista gave another bizarre sermon, which I want to hit in a second, but it's on the longer side. So let me just play Amber's sermon first, because I want to make sure I fit this one in. Listen to what Amber had to say here. This is Robin Bullock's other daughter. This one's from early September 2022.
A plane is just a tool. We couldn't have gotten back here on Sunday and taught to all of you, preached the gospel to all of you here in this congregation and the online, the cyber synagogue, as we call them, without...
Okay, well, that's weird. Why would you call it a synagogue, first of all? Are you guys Jewish? No, they're Christians, first of all. Okay. Second, why does she think it's a good idea to defend private jets? Has this ever ended well for any televangelist in the history of ever? Kenneth Copeland did it. Jesse Duplantis did it. Countless. Tyler Perry. I mean, how many televangelists can I list? I could probably sit here and go down a list of 15 people who defended their private jets and it ended badly for them. This is like the most popular thing to criticize televangelists for. Owning a ton of money and riding around in private jets. This cannot possibly end well for her. But please, don't let that stop you. I would love it if you kept talking about this. Go on. Tell me about your private jet and why you need it so much. Wait, did I say Tyler Perry? Yeah, Tyler Perry. He's an evangelical pastor. That is the guy, right? I am thinking of the right guy, aren't I? I think so. He did like all of those movies. He's an actor. Played like Medea and stuff. And he's also an evangelical pastor who owns private jets and is criticized for that. Oh, you know who else? Creflo Dollar. God, I could sit here and name like pastor after pastor. I got to draw a line somewhere. There are just a billion pastors who talk about owning private jets constantly, and it ends badly for them. Tyler Perry is a pastor, yeah. Isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's a pastor, an evangelical pastor. Am I thinking of a different Tyler Perry? I may be thinking of a different Tyler Perry. There's a pastor he's a megachurch pastor who Kenneth Copeland purchased a $45 million jet from. I'll tell you what, when I edit this, I will, or if my editor edits this, whoever edits this will insert a correction right here and explain the situation in full detail. Is Tyler Perry a pastor? Who am I talking about? So there you go. We'll find out by the end of this. No need to worry. Anyway. All right, let's keep listening.
Preach the gospel to all of you here in this congregation and the online, the cyber synagogue, as we call them. Without that, you cannot preach the gospel to its fullest when you are road worn. We have a bus, and that is nice, and it is.
Look, I got to tell you, man, do you know how many people preach the gospel when they're road worn? Do you have any idea how many people go out there, how many pastors have to have a second job because they don't make enough to support themselves, or their church is too small, so they don't even have, like, the house that they live in? I forget what they call it. Some of these people go out there and work their nuts off to build a little church for themselves, their family, and their friends and everything. And gotta tell you, I think they're a little more road-worn than you. These millionaire, probably coming up on billionaire pastors, televangelists, they're filthy rich. They get ridiculous, massive amounts of money from their members constantly. Robin Bullock and the whole family. They are filthy rich. They can have anything they want at the snap of a finger. I have very little pity for people who say, oh, they just want a private jet so they're not road-worn when they want to preach the gospel. Give me a break.
It really is a nice bus, and I praise God for it. But the days lost in between that. A plane, like I said, it was just a tool to bring the world. The world seems smaller when you just fly 1 hour here, an hour and a half here. What would take you 2 days to travel by bus?
Okay, well, like I said, fantastic. Keep preaching about this airplane because it only helps people criticize you, honestly. You want to have a little tiny plane, an airplane? No, you know what? There's no need for a private jet. I don't care. You can fly commercial. You should fly commercial like everybody else. Kenneth Copeland spent $45 million on his private jet. Do you know how long or how many flights he could take for $45 million? He could fly first class every day for 120 years. For the amount of money that he paid for that private jet. First class, every day of his life, 365 days a year for 120 years. for what he paid for that jet. I don't want to hear excuses. There's no reason to buy a private jet for a pastor. I could maybe justify a small private airplane if you have to shuttle a bunch of people and a bunch of equipment and stuff around the country. I could get that. No reason for the ridiculous, obscene amounts of money that these people spend on this stuff. I don't even care. But go ahead, keep talking about how important a private jet is, please. So, since we got to Amber, I wanted to take a look at Krista's video, the other video that she did. I want to look at what she had to say in this. Late September 2022, it gets weird. Listen to this one.
We are the resistors. We are the resistance. You don't think Star Wars was prophesying?
Star Wars? Did she say that Star Wars was prophesying information? Am I understanding this correctly? I just want to be real sure that I don't misunderstand her here.
You don't think Star Wars was prophesying?
You don't think Star Wars was prophesying? No, I don't. I think it was a dude that had a really interesting story and wrote it down and turned it into a movie script. Are you kidding me? You do think it was prophesying? I think we're on completely different wavelengths here.
Disney didn't always own Star Wars. They didn't.
Oh, yeah, they hate Disney. Oh, my God. They just can't stand Disney as a company. I think they don't like Disney. I was thinking about a joke, but I'll leave the joke alone. No, let me craft a really good joke. I can't tell if it's Disney they hate or if they are dyslexic and really angry with some guy named Sydney. It's hard to tell with these people, but anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying now. I think they have a problem with Disney specifically because they claim that it's promoting the gay agenda and all this other ridiculous stuff. It's just nonsense, dude.
Didn't. Star Wars was produced and made by Lucasfilm. But if you ever wondered...
Oh, it's about to get weird, people. Get ready.
Why it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
Because it wanted to make clear that it wasn't happening here and now.
Why did it... And everything is futuristic, though. But it's a long time ago.
I love it. She isn't connecting the dots that different civilizations might have different technological stages in their civilization. This is so fascinating to me. She thinks that everybody across the universe everywhere is at the exact equal technological level. This is so crazy. Oh my God.
In a galaxy far, far... Wait a second. You don't think they were trying to tell some kind of story there?
Yeah, they were. Are you just connecting the dots on this? Of course they were trying to tell a story. What do you think the point was of this whole thing in the first place?
But it was against a dictatorship who were ruthless.
Remember, this is supposed to be prophecy.
They were killers, and they were bent on controlling the minds of people. You know, we're still talking about Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah, no, low blow, real clever. That was super clever. Comparing the Empire in Star Wars to what, Joe Biden, I guess, in America.
Hand me that.
Ooh, now it's getting real.
I stand before you today if I hadn't made it clear.
I love it when televangelists use props. It's my favorite thing ever.
If I hadn't made it clear what I stand for.
That's pretty realistic. They make some really expensive lightsabers too. They make some of them that are like hundreds of dollars. I don't know what kind of quality this one is, but it makes the noise and everything. It looks pretty high quality, right? But you keep swinging it around, notice. Watch what she does here. Let me just step back. Watch. What? You seeing this? She does that through the rest of her time with this thing.
And if you're bold enough, repeat after me. I am a part of the body of Christ. I will not stay silent. I am part of the rebellion. rebellion.
Like Star Wars. She's trying to make a Star Wars analogy here. This is so ridiculous.
To the kingdom of darkness. I will fight the good fight of faith. Now hear me loud and clear, devil. We are the resistance. And we will win this war. Come on! Come on!
So cringy. Oh my God, but I love it. I eat this up, man. Deeply entertaining stuff. So if you wondered going into this, what are Robin Bullock's kids like? Are they just as weird as him? Now you have the answer. The answer is even weirder. And honestly, I am so glad I know now. I am so deeply glad. If you disagree with anything I've said tonight, let me know what you think in the comments or on Twitter at Telltale Atheist.